Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter World, and today I'm going to be bringing you another one of my builds. This time around, we're going to be taking a look at charge blades, more specifically elemental charge blades. And I know that overall elemental charge blades kind of suck, even when you're aligning yourself with the element that the monster is weak to. However, with the introduction of Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth, she drops some pretty sweet elemental charge blades that I just could not pass up on, and as such I went ahead and I did a build around pretty much every element that you can get out of Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth. So any KJÁRR strong arm variant is most likely going to work with this, with the exception of impact files, because this set does not have artillery, although you can kind of put artillery in there instead of the element and it will still kind of work. But at the same time, this set is more intended for elemental charge blades, so keep that in mind. Now, I know that the chances of you getting something that you actually want out of Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth are minimal at best. Trust me, I've experienced that to a great extent in the multiple live streams that I've done farming Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth. I do not like the way Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth works. I think it's even worse now that it's the Arch Tempered version, because the loot pool has grown that much more, and it's a complete loot box every time that you kill Kulve Taroth, and I'll be honest, I don't like it at all. But either way, I decided to do this build because I do like the weapons that drop. So the weapon that I'm using on this build is the KJÁRR Strong Arm Spark. It's got some pretty sweet damage. It's got 720. It's got 15% positive affinity, 300 thunder element, power element file. I've augmented it with health regen, and it's got critical element, which means you're going to be dealing additional elemental damage whenever you happen to crit. We're going to be taking advantage of that. So let's have a look at the decorations that we got going on this particular set. So the very first armor piece that we got is the Kaiser Crown Gamma, because we're going to want to take advantage of as much critical eye as we possibly can, and we're going to socket that sucker with 2 mighty jewels. Then we're going to go down to the Damascus Mail Beta, which is going to bring in 3 tier 1 decoration slots, which is pretty damn useful, and 2 focus, which is also really good if you happen to be using charge blades. Now, on the 3 slots, we're going to be putting 3 bolt jewels. This is the part of the build that changes depending on the weapon that you are using. So, for instance, if you happen to have the KJÁRR Strong Arm Decay, which actually deals dragon damage, you're going to replace the bolt jewels with jewels that increase dragon damage. Same thing if you happen to have a fire version of the KJÁRR Strong Arm. You get the idea. Basically, you put the element that matches with your charge blade to make sure that you max that sucker out. Then we got the Rurikhan Vambraces Alpha for more attack, as well as a little bit more critical eye in there, and we're going to socket them with the 3rd mighty jewel, maxing out that maximum might, and a magazine jewel, because you also want to have as many files as you possibly can on there. And moving right along, we got the Damascus Coil Beta, giving you that 3rd focus point, which means that this build is actually pretty friendly in terms of decorations, with the exception of that last decoration that you're looking at there. I know you're looking at it. In here, we're going to be putting 1 attack jewel. Everybody has 1 attack jewel, unless you sold it. That's not my fault. If you fucked up, that's not my fault, okay? Everybody has 1 attack jewel for free, okay? Then we're going to stick 2 vitality jewels in there just to give you a little bit more survivability. If you're fighting something a little bit easier, then swap those out for something else that you would rather have. But for overall usefulness in the build, I like having additional vitality. It's not going to give you that level 3 vitality, but level 2 is still better than nothing. Then, finalizing the build, we got the Rurikhan Greaves Alpha, which is going to bring in another 2 attack boosts, 1 critical boost. The critical boost is not particularly important because it only really affects physical damage, not really elemental damage, so it's not a big deal. And in here is where you guys are going to, be upset at me because I have a sharp jewel. The only reason I have a sharp jewel is because, I want to sharpen less often, pretty much. That's the main reason why anybody uses a sharp jewel. If you do not have it, it is not super critical. Like, it's good. It's a good thing to have, but it's not, like, mega mandatory to have a sharp jewel. And then we wrap everything up with a Master's Charm 3. Now, if you look at the final version of the build with all the skills that we got Critical Eye level 7. This is actually going to bring our affinity with the Critical Eye stacking with the Mighty Jewel and the 5% that you get from attack boost plus the 15% that you get from the weapon itself, you're going to be sitting on 80% affinity regardless of where you hit. It's pretty damn good. There's no weakness, exploit, no nothing, so you're going to be critting all over the place, and it's going to feel real good. Then we have level 4 attack boost. We have level 3 thunder attack because if you guys are not aware, elemental charge blades actually receive no benefit whatsoever from artillery. Instead, they receive benefit from the element of choice of that weapon. And as such, it also makes it a little bit easier to make this set as opposed to, an impact file set. However, the disadvantage is that you're going to need weapons for every single element in order to really be effective with this, and you're going to have to swap it around depending on the monsters that you are fighting. Do understand, these sets are only really worth it if the monster is 3 stars weak to the element that you are using, okay? Otherwise, it's not that great. It's still not that great. It's a fun set. It's an alternative to impact files, but the monster has to be weak against the element that you are using. Anyway, then we have level 3 focus, level 3 maximum might, level 2 health boost, level 1 critical boost, which comes from the Drachengreaves Alpha. You don't really need that. It's just kind of like a side thing that we got. You got capacity boost, protective polish, and critical element that comes from the weapon itself. So it's a pretty neat little set that you can use. It gives you an alternative to the always impact file style of using charge blades, which most people, let's face it, everybody equips the Tyrannus and everybody just runs with that all the time just because it's probably the most powerful charge blade in the goddamn game. But it's fun to dabble in a different build every now and then. At least I'd like to think so. So this is something that you can try out, and you guys can see that it is effective on certain monsters. It is particularly effective when it comes to Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth, particularly if you happen to have the KJÁRR Strong Arm Spark. You can really break the crap out of Arch Tempered Kulve Taroth, really cool. But it's also useful in other monsters, particularly if you have the Ice variant. I've seen someone, I think, take down a Diablos with 2 super amped elemental discharges, so that was pretty damn cool. But I wasn't lucky enough to get the Ice version of the KJÁRR Strong Arm, so that kind of sucks because Kulve Taroth is super random and I freaking hate it. But anyways, on the 26th of January, here I'll be again, grinding that sucker down. Let me know what you guys think about this particular build in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.